This was last year's polygon test, October 24th, 2014. Determine if the following figures are polygons. So question number 3 is not a polygon. It's not a polygon because it's curved. I'm not going to be testing you on the name. You need to know the names and how many sides it has, but not if it's convex or concave. So question numbers 1 and 2 are called convex. Convex ends with the letter X, and just imagine that you are you're extending these lines, and notice how they form an X right there. Okay, so you just count the number of sides. Number 1, this would be a concave octagon, 8-sided, and number 2, this is a convex pentagon. Again, you're not going to be tested on convex or concave, but you should know the number of sides on a polygon. Question number 4, if you can recognize, find the measure of angle G in the diagram below. So if I see 2 consecutive sides are congruent, this is called a what? It's a kite. So in a kite, there's 2 properties. You can either have diagonals or perpendicular, or the one I'm looking for is exactly one pair of opposite angles. Well, these aren't congruent, so these 2 must be, and that's the reason why I drew an X there. Now, to get all of the interior sum. Now, notice I use the word sum. A lot of students are getting confused with each. It's sum because you have a bunch of numbers and variables here. So you have to add them all up. Well, to get it to be equal to 360 degrees right here, you can use the interior sum equation. N minus 2 times 180. N's the number of sides. You have 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 times 180 is 360. Here you just combine like terms, and you'll get X to be 117. Therefore, angle G is 117. If I'm going too fast for you, I'm going to be posting this underneath the lessons folder. It'll also be on YouTube. You can look under my Mr. Mathing channel. Questions numbers 8 to 12. Use the parallelogram. So now if you're using your maps, you should know all the properties of a parallelogram. Those are it says PQRS to find the values of the segments of the angles. It tells me PQ is 10. So write it on your picture if it's not there. QS, which is a diagonal, is 18. And the reason why I wrote 9 and 9 there is because I know that diagonals bisect, or cut in half. And the measure of angle PQR is 80 degrees. So this whole angle there is 80 degrees. For question number 5, it says QSR. QSR is going to be 42 degrees. The reason why it's 42 plus 38 gives me 80, and you have opposite angles are congruent. So that's the property of the parallelogram. Question number 6, QPS. Well, if this is 80, then this one has to be 100. Consecutive interior angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. Question number 7, PQS. So that little angle up here. This little angle is going to be 42 degrees. Parallel lines cut by a transversal here. Alternate interior angles are congruent. That was actually on your quiz. Question number 8, QRS. Again, same thing. If this is 80, this has to be 100 because of consecutive interior angles. Question number 9, PSR. Opposite angles are congruent. This big angle is, or add those 2 together, you get 80 degrees. SR. Opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent, so that's 10. QR. Same thing, opposite sides are congruent. And question number 12, it says QT. So notice how that is only half of the segment. So half of that diagonal would be 9. We know that because diagonals bisect. Remember, if it's going too fast, just write down your answers. A great way of studying is actually just going back and retrying the problem. Question number 13. What is the measure of an interior angle of a regular octagon? So notice how this problem doesn't say the word, does not say sum, and it does not say each. So that's when you should be thinking, well, it says interior and you need one of them. Well, it says N interior angle. That means one angle, or each angle. That equation is n minus 2 times, that's a 180 divided by n. And you can just substitute in octagon. So octagon is 8, 8 minus 2 is 6, 6 times 180 divided by 8. That'll give you 135, choice 4. Now, yesterday, in the past 2 days, I've been telling you guys about this trick. The trick is, if it's telling you to find an interior angle, well, find the exterior first, and then you can just use supplementary angles to get 135. Each exterior angle is 360 over n. Notice how it's a shorter formula. Just substitute in 8 for your number of sides for the octagon, and you'll get your each exterior angle to be 45. There you can do supplementary and get your interior to be 135. So again, you can do either of these ways, but I think the second one is faster, and it's a shortcut we've been talking about. Question number 14. Find the value of x and state the property used. So if you count up the sides there, I have 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral, which means n is equal to 4. Well, I need the interior sum on this problem. Again, the common mistake is to think interior each. Remember, if you used your maps, interior each only works for a regular polygon. A regular polygon would be if all the sides are congruent and all the angles are congruent, which it's not. Okay? So use n minus 2 times 180. That'll give you an interior sum of 360 degrees. And then I just add up all of these. And when you combine like terms, 32x and 44x, you'll get 76x. Add up all the constants. That'll be 15, 43, 80, and negative 6. That'll give you 132. Subtract it from both sides, you'll get x is equal to 3. State the property used. The property you're using is the polygon interior sum formula. Students last year, a lot of them didn't write the property used, and they probably got x equals 3. You get 3 out of 4. Question number 15. Find the value of x and y, then name the figure. Well, again, you have 2 consecutive sides are congruent. That's called a kite. Notice here that the congruent marks, you can't start here. You can't say this side is equal to this side because you have an x variable and a y variable, which means you'll have to start down here. 2x plus 2 equals x plus 11. Subtract 2 from both sides, subtract x, you get x equals 9. Now you can take 9 and put it into this equation up here to solve for y. If 9 here, 9 plus 2 is 11. Then you just add 2 to both sides, y is equal to 13. Backside. Question number 16. Name the quadrilateral that has all of the following properties. So if you actually thought this was multiple choice and you circled one, I'm trying to be clear on multiple choice questions. I actually tried to write the word multiple choice. So if you don't see that, then you shouldn't be circling anything. Okay? In that problem, where am I here? Name the quadrilateral that has all these following properties. So it's saying, I'm going to give you some facts, and you should be thinking about some of the quadrilaterals. It has 4 right angles. That means it's only a rectangle or a square. Opposite sides are congruent. Well, that's just any parallelogram. And diagonals bisect each other. That's also a parallelogram. So with all of these clues, the most specific polygon we can think of is a rectangle. The reason why I crossed off square is because it says opposite sides are congruent. It does not say all sides are congruent. If it said all sides are congruent, then it would be a square. But if you think of a rectangle, only your 2 sides are congruent, therefore it's a rectangle. Question number 17, multiple choice. The measure of an interior angle, that means each interior angle of a regular polygon is 120 degrees. How many sides does the polygon have? Again, I'm using the shortcut. I'm just thinking of the exterior angle, each exterior. And so in this problem, I'm going backwards. The equation is 360 divided by n. It tells me that each interior angle is 120. Well, that means I know each exterior angle is 60 degrees. And then I just have to solve for n. I can just cross multiply, and you'll get n is equal to 6. Remember, it's a multiple choice question. So let's just say you don't know how to do the shortcut. You don't know how to do this problem. Well, you can just write down your each interior angle formula and then substitute in each of the numbers. 4 little mini problems until you get one of the answers to be 120 degrees. That's the long way, but it does give you an answer. Running out of time, so I'm going to go a little faster. Question number 18, solve for y and justify your answer. So in here, in this problem, it tells you it's a parallelogram, but you don't know it's a rhombus or a square. So you can't start off with 2y minus 6 and y equals y plus 16 because you don't know that. So you do opposite angles are congruent. You'll get y equals 4. Okay. Now I'm going to keep the picture up here, and then I'm going to go over questions number 19, which is on the top right of your page. 19a says the measure of angle Q. Well, once you solve for y equals 4, put a 4 in there. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. So that angle Q, 19a, your answer is 16 degrees. 19b says a measure of angle QRS. Well, 16 degrees, you're looking for its supplement, so that would be 164 degrees. 19c, it's looking for QR. Well, you know that y is equal to 4, so 2 times 4 minus 6, that'll give you a 2. Sorry for that, was 19d SR. And number 19c says QR, so 4 plus 16 is 20. Opposite sides are congruent, therefore 19c is 20. For questions 20 to 22, your answers are sometimes, always, and sometimes. Remember, look at your map and the directions I've shown you. Question number 23. The sum of the measures of an interior angle of an octagon. So I circle the keywords, sum and interior. There's your equation, and you'll get D, 1080. Question number 24. Fill in the blank. If the parallelogram is a rhombus, then its diagonals are, these are just the properties. So you could just write those down. Perpendicular, congruent, bisect. 24D is parallelogram. And the last one, again, just another properties question. If the quadrilateral is an isosceles trapezoid, then it has exactly, you could put either of these answers because it's just, you're just naming a property of that. Okay?